Puss in Boots. There was once a time when an old miller had 3 children. Death was upon the old miller, so he called to his 3 sons and said, "Before I die, I want to split up the little that I have among the 3 of you." So he gave his eldest son the windmill. To his middle son he gave his donkey, and to his youngest son he gave the only thing that was left, his pussycat. After saying this to his sons, the father died. While the 2 older brothers set out to exploit their inheritance, the youngest brother was disappointed with his gift. But this was no ordinary feline. The cat requested and was provided with a pair of his father's old boots. The cat put on the boots, and they both left to roam the world. While they were on their journey, they sat to rest a moment in the shade under a big tree. The youngest son quickly fell asleep, and the cat took one of the bags that his master had and filled it with herbs. The cat left it sitting open on the ground. A curious rabbit saw the bag filled with herbs and was very impressed by the color of the herbs. The rabbit then went inside the bag to get a closer look at the herbs. As soon as he did, the cat pulled a string, trapping the rabbit inside the bag. The cat then strapped the bag to his back and headed out toward the king's castle to give the bag to the king. "I come on behalf of my owner, Duke Carabas, who sends his regards and this gift." The king gratefully accepted the offering from the cat. A couple of days went by, and the cat continued to send the king gifts on behalf of his master. One day, the king decided to have a great big party in his castle, and when Puss in Boots found out about the party, he came up with a great idea. "Master, master, I know how we can improve our lives. All you have to do is follow my lead and do as I say," said Puss in Boots. The master did not really understand what Puss in Boots was up to, but since he had nothing to lose, he agreed to go along with it. "Hurry then, go and jump in the river." At that moment, he heard carriages off in the distance. It was the king and his daughter. The cat hid the clothes under a rock and jumped up and screamed at the top of his lungs, "Help! Help us, please! The Duke Carabas was bathing in the river and had his clothes stolen! Help!" The king, drawn to the cat by his screams, came to see what all the commotion was about. The king, thankful for all the gifts he had been given by the cat, had the young man brought from the river, dressed in a splendid suit of clothes, and seated him in the coach with his daughter. When the princess saw the duke, she was absolutely astonished at how handsome he was. Puss in Boots, always one step ahead of everyone else, ran into the nearby towns and told everyone that if the king asks, these fields belong to Duke Carabas, and that's exactly what they did. The cat realized that the only thing that his master was missing was a castle of his own. He then remembered a nearby castle that belonged to an ogre, so he set off to speak with him.
Mr. Ogre, I have heard what kind of powers you have, but I have come here today to see if it is really true.
The ogre was outraged at Puss in Boots' disbelief, so he took a deep breath and wham! He turned himself into a ferocious lion.
Nice job,
said the cat.
But that one's easy since you're already the size of a lion. But can you turn yourself into something small? Like a mouse or a fly, for example.
The ogre blew out his breath and turned himself into a little mouse. But before he knew what hit him, bam! Puss in Boots jumped on top of him and ate him right up. At the same time, he heard the carriages passing by, and he